South China Morning Post, 27th of March 2023, India is being taught by South Korea how to blend in as a U.S. partner and member of the Quad. Celebrations rang out in Washington when South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida met earlier this month. Even though both nations are United States treaty partners, disputes over grievances go back to World War II. However, South Korea declared in the lead-up to the meeting that it would no longer insist that Japanese businesses make up for the Koreans subjected to forced labor. The U.S. stands to benefit significantly from the shift, which is primarily motivated by threats from China and North Korea. Working with Japan and South Korea will strengthen Washington's security stance and capacity to balance China. A growing debate is raging over whether South Korea will officially join the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, as the country has also been making steady progress toward the organization. There was a feeling that Washington was broadening its regional options to get around the Quad's security gaps with the recent AUKUS agreement. The US and Britain teamed up to supply Australia with nuclear-powered submarines. That idea, however, might worry another US partner, namely India. India has been dragging its feet in the Quad for years, stymieing attempts to characterize it as a security alliance targeted at China despite Chinese intimidation. Given Seoul's closer alignment with the West on Russia and Ukraine and its stronger military links with the US, adding South Korea to the Quad could significantly increase pressure on China. India needs to contribute more to the US alliance structure as Japan and South Korea find more common ground. After the invasion of Ukraine, South Korea placed sanctions on Russia, joining Japan, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Due to fiscal factors, Seoul has struggled to be more cautious regarding China. But on many topics, it increasingly behaves and speaks like the US. The Taiwan Strait was first mentioned in a joint South Korea and US declaration in 2021. It supported a motion at the UN Human Rights Council last year to start a discussion about Xinjiang. India, on the other hand, disagrees with Washington's position on the majority of these delicate subjects. In Taiwan, it has mainly remained silent. It didn't vote in favor of the UN measure on Xinjiang. Additionally, India's ideological distance from the US and its friends has grown under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There is an attitude in India that it can get its way, a senior Indian diplomat told the media. In recent years, India's fervent nationalism has frequently targeted the West in its internal politics. That includes New Delhi's persistent failure to condemn Russia for the invasion of Ukraine and its ongoing energy purchases from Moscow. The controversial Citizenship Amendment Act, a rise in nationalistic values, and Kashmir have all been points of contention between the Foreign Ministry of India and US officials. After the BBC aired a documentary about Modi this year, New Delhi retaliated against its local branches. Some people criticized the White House's lack of reaction to that incident, but the U.S. State Department recently released a report outlining significant human rights issues in India. In the meantime, New Delhi criticized the British government for not providing enough security following the vandalism of the Indian High Commission in London by Khalistani rebels supported by Pakistan. Since these gaps will only widen, Washington should seek closer security ties with regional allies who share its values. Both the reconciliation of South Korea with Japan and its admission to the Quad will be wise decisions. India and China have frequently supported the same candidate since the start of the Ukraine conflict. Both nations have refrained from calling the battle an attack on Russia. Both continue to have close political, economic, and military connections to Moscow and have confined themselves to advocating for communication between Russia and Ukraine. However, India's isolation within the U.S. alliance system also allows Chinese President Xi Jinping to play a divide-and-rule strategy and attempt to defrost relations with Modi. But Modi and Xi have had little opportunity to capitalize on this shared ground because the India-China border dispute is still raging. That might alter later. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) meeting will be held in India this year, and Vladimir Putin might be invited. The summit will offer a crucial forum for discussion between the three leaders on various global problems and may reveal some divergent points of view. However, any reconciliation between Modi and Xi won't be possible unless compromises are made regarding the border dispute, such as restoring the status quo before the 2020 clashes and fostering trust for a more stable situation. That might seem like a lot to expect in light of the nationalist rhetoric in China regarding territorial integrity. But Beijing will find no border concession too expensive if repairing relations with India can weaken the U.S. alliance system in Asia. China has long claimed that it wants to launch and lead an Asian century alongside India. This idea appears to support both Beijing and New Delhi even after the border battles in 2020. If Xi wishes, the chance to advance that cause with Modi is available at the SCO summit this year.